Did you get blasted that very night?
Not completely blasted, but it was a different type of emotion where I could do and be anything I wanted.
Hello, everybody. My name is Pej. I'm an interventionist. I help people with drug addiction, alcoholism, and mental health get the help that they need. Today, we are with my dear, dear friend, Nicole. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Pej.
So, I've known Nicole for many years. Nicole and I used to work together in the treatment scene at a certain particular center. We've seen a lot of stuff. We will get into that definitely later. But first, I want to just ask Nicole some questions and get to know Nicole. So, Nicole, how long have you been sober?
I'm coming up on 8 years,
Okay.
September 21st.
Okay, and you had a rough childhood, rough adolescent period, or did you just kind of acclimate to that type of lifestyle?
No, it kind of intertwined and evolved all at once. Like my mom was loving. I grew up in a single parent home, but it evolved from learning to keep secrets at an early age and in being abandoned by my dad to being molested from the age 9 till the age 12 and learning to brush it under the rug because we don't talk about those things.
And when you were growing up, was there any siblings or anything like that around you?
I had one older brother around me, and I have 4 younger brothers and 2 younger sisters from separate parents.
Yeah.
But I was always the one to be the nurturer,
Right.
to be the parent other than the parent. So after that, it just all the responsibility I learned to have a secret life, and I learned to turn to the streets for that love.
So, did you feel like you had like your family became the streets?
My family absolutely became the streets because there was a loyalty there, and there's a lot of rules, and when you're in loyalty mode, there's no switching up. It's life or death.
Okay, and then when you were also younger, what do you recollect as the first time that you ever really tried any kinds of substances, and why did you?
I was about 11 years old. I got drunk,
Okay.
and like my dad's side, they party and
Was it beer or hard liquor or what?
hard liquor.
Hard liquor.
I skipped all the soft stuff and went straight for the hard stuff.
Okay, and when you did it, like, did you get blasted that very night?
Not completely blasted, but it was a different type of emotion where I could do and be anything I wanted.
Nice. All right, and then how did that? Well, then what happened after that? Like, did you start getting into other stuff, or were you just a drinker for a period of time?
No, I jumped into hanging out with some older men from biker clubs to gang members and learning to freebase, and
How old were you when you first freebased?
probably about 14.
14 years old. Okay, and it was just readily available because people were already doing it
It
around
was
you.
available at any time I asked because I'm a female.
And how fast did you get addicted to freebasing?
Probably within months.
Okay, and then did it become other stuff? Did you ever smoke weed or anything like that?
I wasn't a weed smoker.
Okay,
Definitely, I don't even like the smell of weed.
you were basically that person that doesn't do
I
that.
was that person that doesn't touch weed, but
Yeah.
I will touch any other drug of choice.
Okay, so when you say any other drug of choice, obviously we've gone from alcohol to freebasing. Freebasing is somewhat of a stimulant.
So
But
I've done cocaine, methamphetamine. I've done some psychedelics.
any opiates?
Heroin was the love of my life.
It became the love of your life.
Oh, it was 100% the love of my life.
Was it something that you were using as in smoking, or did you intravenously shoot it?
It started out as smoking, and I jumped straight to the needle.
Okay, and how fast? I mean, how old were you when you did that?
The first time I shot up, I was 24.
And was there any kind of fear that, oh my God, I'm actually taking this to a different level now? I'm going to stick a needle in my arm?
No, I was tired of not getting high enough quick enough.
And so you knew like this is
I
going to get
knew
me
this
higher.
once I put that needle in the first time that it was a wrap.
Okay.
Like I was off to the races.
And then when did you have your children? How old were you when you had kids?
My first son, I was 21, and in the midst of having him, I was still using because I was in this abusive relationship. So that trickled down to me not wanting to use, but I had no choice but to use. And I managed to get clean right before I had him, but as soon as I had him, even though I was like bleeding out and like dying basically after having my son, I went to a whole different like mindset and went down to the parking garage and grabbed my dope and shot up again while my newborn son was still in the hospital.
Hmm. So then, did you? How old were you when you got sober,
Um,
and why?
the way it worked out for me is I got incarcerated and I was facing a lot of time, and it went from that to I knew I didn't want to use anymore, but I was done. I was really done.
When you say incarcerated, was it jail or prison or both?
Both. It was both. It started out in general population. I got sent to prison and then I got sent back to jail, but I knew I didn't want to use. I just didn't know how that was going to be possible.
Hmm. And so you were how old when you finally decided I'm done?
I was 29.
29. And you just decided, like, did you go to treatment or something like that?
No, I withdrew and detoxed in lockup.
And lock up. And then how long were you locked up during that time?
Almost a year.
And then when
before I was offered a program.
Mhm. And then you went to a program, and that year you went for residential, correct?
I went for residential,
And
and I was still considered incarcerated while I was there.
Okay. And I know that while you were there, like you started to gain this interest in helping people, right?
In the beginning, it was more. I was still so angry, but I knew I wanted to help people.
Mm-hmm.
The way, not to ever feel the way I felt when I got to the point where I was on Skid Row and filling up a needle with gutter water.
Right.
Like I knew I didn't want to be that person that just bypass somebody and see them and not ask them how they were, because I remember how that felt to be alone.
Okay. And then how long did it take after you were in residential where you decided I want to be about this way of life with recovery? And because we called this from the streets to the seats, so at some point you obviously wanted to be in those seats.
It took me until I was 9 months clean.
9 months, okay. And then you started working in treatment?
I started by volunteering at the place where I was at residential. And from there I started growing a passion just for people. So I would volunteer going to like homeless outreaches and different like shelters on my own. And I didn't tell anybody because I still had that warped mentality. If they knew I was being soft,
right,
that was going to be a problem.
Okay, and I know that about you. So, but it's always with love. You and I have worked on the front lines in a treatment center in the past. What was crazy was as many different people that we interacted with and tried to help during those times, which were the clients, the patients. We also saw a lot of people that we worked with alongside us that also later on struggled with their own addiction, and many of them overdosed and died. I know that, at least I know, in my heart of hearts, I know that I can always count on you, Nicole, for being so engulfed in the recovery process that it's not like you're in relapse mode or like you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It is very sad that we lost our friends, but I'm very interested now. I mean, we've come so far. We've always been friends. What are you doing right now for work? Like, as far as what, I really want you to talk about that because it's very important.
So
that
I
people
do
know.
work in a treatment facility, and I also work for a homeless shelter.
Homeless shelter. So you work at the homeless shelter, overseeing the homeless people, and you work the graveyard shift, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Does anything crazy ever happen in the middle of
Every
the night?
day, because they're not required to be any type of clean or sober. They can come in as they are.
But they can't use on the site?
They cannot use on the site.
And what happens if they use on the site?
So because of my current schooling and me working towards becoming a counselor, I'm able to take them aside and give them one-on-one sessions before I give them a chance before I exit them. Because really it's an immediate exit. That's with any of the supervisors there. But if anybody can get clean like me, so can they.
I love it. And then you also work in a treatment center, but right now you are moving in the direction of hopefully coaching people, but also possibly becoming a female interventionist, correct?
Yes.
And that's kind of one of the reasons that we met today,
Yes.
is to be able to talk about that, because we need somebody like you. You have a way with words. You have a way with addicts and alcoholics that are struggling. I believe that you will be highly effective, and it's such an honor and a privilege to have you on my channel today.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. So I'm going to have her actually as a guest on my podcast coming up soon here, Pejji's Recovery Corner. But in the meantime, thank you so much for coming out today and and joining me in talking about being from the streets to the seats.
Thank you for having me.
My type of person. If you or somebody that you know is struggling with addiction or alcoholism or mental health, you can always call me at 310-596-9356. My name is Pej. Thank you.